Hey guys, and welcome to the 504. I'm Sheba Turk, and October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is a problem all over the country, but in Louisiana it's especially concerning because the state ranks second in the nation for women killed by men. And in the majority of those cases, the woman knows her killer. Domestic violence affects both men and women, and the more we hear their stories, the more we can understand the complexities of abusive relationships and help someone who might be in one. Kristin Pierce is an anchor and reporter for our sister station WWL-TV, and she's here to share her story. And to start the month off, you posted that video on social media telling people that you had been in an abusive relationship. Thanks so much for being here to talk with me tonight and have this real conversation. Why did you decide to post that on social media?
I think domestic violence is so prevalent, but we don't hear about it. There's the stigma associated with domestic violence. A lot of people are embarrassed. A lot of people are ashamed of what they've gone through. And so I think that we probably all know someone who's experienced domestic violence, but we don't talk about it. So it's like a stigma where people don't want to talk about what happened to them because, you know, there are so many things that, you know, when they do talk about it, there's victim shaming, there's victim blaming. And so people, this is just a huge issue that we're so silent about. So I just decided I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not ashamed. I didn't ask for it to happen to me. So I'm in a good position emotionally where I can talk about it and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't take me back to where I was.
Yeah, how did you get to that good place? Because I know you told me you weren't always in that good place.
No, no, I wasn't always there. I went to counseling. And that's another thing I think we don't talk about is counseling. I went to counseling for maybe 6 months. And when I first started going, I went like 3 times a week. And then after that, when I started to feel better, I would go twice a week. Then I would go once a week. Then I would go once every 2 weeks until finally I felt like my confidence was built up, my self-esteem was built back up. And I felt like I didn't need to really go anymore.
Yeah, and you do hear people so judgmental, it seems, of abusive relationships. If they've never been in one, people often go, well, I don't get it. She says that he hit her. Why didn't she leave? What do you say to those people?
I think it's really judgmental, and you never know what battles people are fighting. So sometimes it's best to be quiet and just listen. Because one time I was at my sister's house, and one of her friends was actually saying, like, you know, people who stay in those, they're so stupid. And I was just there like, they're not stupid, you know, like, and then that's when my sister realized why I was going back and forth with her so much is because I was in an abusive relationship.
And why did you stay?
It's gradual. It's not like it's how you see it on TV. It's like a punch, and that's the first thing. That's not how it really is. For me, it was a shove. Then it was maybe name calling, and it's really gradual where you build up to, you know, the worst thing where it's a slap in the face or I was spit on or, you know, chasing me around the house or something like that. It wasn't, and it was to a point where I wasn't sure if it was domestic violence or not. Like, I knew it wasn't normal, but I wasn't sure, am I in an abusive relationship? And I was thinking like, well, I wasn't raised around that, and that's not who I saw myself as being, like a victim. So I was like, no, this can't be happening to me. So I was kind of in denial too.
That's very interesting. So what do you want someone to know who's going through this right now, maybe watching and in the same position, like, he didn't punch me in the face, so it's not domestic violence?
I think deep down, when you know something is wrong, you know that it's wrong. For me, I'm very, very close to my family. Like, if we're not walking in on the bathroom in each other, that's unusual. That's not, you know, unusual for us. Like, we do things like that. So for me, when I didn't want for my family to like see me, or I didn't want to talk to them about my relationship, I knew that it was different. When, you know, you want to share, oh, this is so great, this is so great, but when it was nothing good to share, and somebody that I talked to, you know, my mom all the time, my 2 sisters all the time, my brother, I'm sure he wouldn't have liked to hear, but you know, when I'm really close to my family, so when I didn't talk to them about things, I knew something was wrong because I was hiding parts of my life.
How did you decide to leave? Because the counseling came after.
The counseling did come after, and actually it got to a point where I couldn't hide it anymore. I literally could not hide it anymore, because there would be times like, you know, I had bruises or marks on my arm from where you grabbed me, and I didn't have any excuses about where they came from. So my family would start asking me, like, what's going on? You know, like, we don't see you as much, you don't talk to us as much about your life. And then I would, you know, always try to hide my body from them and stuff. So it got to a point where I just couldn't hide it anymore. And there would be times where I had to call the police, and I had to call my dad to pick me up. And he's, you know, I can't hide that anymore. So then all the questions are coming up about what's going on.
Well, I'm so glad that you decided to share your story and that there is a positive end to your story. I think it's so important that we all tell whatever the truth is that we're going through. Thanks so much for telling that. Guys, if you are in an abusive relationship or you know someone who is, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That number is 1-800-799-SAFE.